Kyuubi is just really good. I know they both have master portraits. You might be thinking, oh, it's gonna be close. Masters is a significant amount of MMR. Like, it's literally on Europe. I think it goes from 4,600 to maybe even lower, maybe like 4,400, something like that, to 5,600, I want to say. So, like, something along those lines. Like, it's really, really large. Whereas on NA, it's actually a lot smaller. But then their GMs are considered of lower quality, right? So that's kind of the fun thing about servers, yay! But the point is, this is going to be really difficult for this person in the bottom right. As the orange Zerg, she is AibaAinaDesu, and she is going for that 12 pool. The top left, generally the defending Banshee Queen, although I think the last Banshee Queen was Scarlet, which usually it is. It is Kyuubi. Okay, so I think it's kind of agreed upon, a lot of the people that face Kyuubi in these tournaments, that she can be weak to early pools, but it also just makes sense in general that if you think you're not going to be able to take on a person in a macro game, that you at least can give yourself a leg up here by doing some type of damage in the early game. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. These aren't free wins here against Kyuubi, and this one in particular is not even that committed, right? But maybe you can get a good start, and then the mid-game attack can go a little bit better. It does require a bit more than that, though, to kill Kyuubi, just in general, though. One of the other things that Kyuubi was weak against, maybe still is kind of weak against, is early attacks from Terran, like Hellbat attacks. But unless the Terran straight up killed her, she would recover and then show her dominance in the macro game and win anyways. So these kind of like early, like, oh, maybe I'll get like a opening here and do some damage. Even if it killed the hatchery and killed 6 drones, which would be really a very poor start for Kyuubi, it still might not be enough. Kyuubi just is super dominant in the mid to late game. I think their MMRs right now, I'm guessing there's probably a 600 MMR difference. Again, even though they're both in Masters, I believe. I think that's a pretty good guess, but again, I don't know specifically. Drones are pulled to buy time. They don't actually want to fight the Lings until the Lings of her own are out. And even then, hopefully only her Lings plus a Queen, if she can actually buy enough time, which she certainly is. The hatchery's still very healthy. She should only lose about 2 drones, if that, in this defense, and she doesn't actually lose any drones right now, so this is excellent for the Blue Zerg, who did, I believe, open up with a 16 hatch. So a bit better on the Ling timing and Queen timing, but no Queen necessary here, just enough Lings to deal with this, and Aiba has not gotten a very good start at all. Her own hatchery is up and running, which doesn't have that gas that Kyuubi does, so even though there's a bit of lost mining time and now an awkward spread of drones on these 2 bases, that speed is going to be really quite huge here. Aiba could have maybe gone for the wall off, but obviously it's going to be a little bit later. She actually needs to get the creep spread out there, and I think that will be her plan, despite only getting 1 gas geyser a little bit earlier. A lot of times we see if that is their plan, they go for later double gas, but I want to say that's still her plan. She is also kind of a roach player in general when it comes to ZVZ. Queen's getting a little bit bold, going after an Overlord. Needed to help out their sons and daughters there, those Lings. Going back to Mama. And the Overlord will survive. It will survive. Kyuubi not only adding on Metabot boost, but also Speedlings. Damn it. But also Banelings. Okay, next, in my defense, it's getting late over here. Shut up. You're dumb. Roachborn Evolution is on the way, so boom, called it. I'm so smart. Shut up, guys. And, well, I really thought that Banelings Nest was going to be for a bust, because she was expecting this follow-up. If you can get a decent number of Banelings, and by that I mean like 10, I think, kill the Queen? It's kind of a high number. Then you can catch them before their Roach Warren is done or before Roaches are out, and you can bust them. But it is kind of a tough timing to hit. It's definitely not guaranteed damage. And the perhaps quote-unquote safer way of doing it would be to just get a 3rd hatchery and then match their Roaches. Which Kyuubi, it feels like she's doing now, but after she decided to change up her plan... Yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but... I guess until that attack right there and then, she didn't actually see the front. and you don't want to just assume. No, she had 2 Lings and 1 of the main. Okay. Well, anyways. The point is, Kyuubi actually isn't as far ahead as I thought she would be. Kyuubi had already committed to speed before she realized what was going on, so I don't blame her for that at all. Although she might have been able to try and predict Aiba. Oh, force on cancel with slow Lings. Feels good. And not go for speed, she did. That's fine. But the fact that she didn't go for a very fast 3rd hatchery and just drone is what's a little surprising to me. I think that would have been a better plan, and AibaAinaDesu wouldn't have been necessary either. So I think she ended up canceling it when she realized what was going down, because I don't see it right now. Yeah, but it took her longer than she would have liked. So her 3rd hatchery was late, kind of to begin with, considering her positioning in this game. And then on top of that, it was just canceled at like 60% done. So that puts Aiba pretty far ahead there, about a half a hatchery ahead, a little bit more than that. I was gonna say though, Aiba doesn't have an evolution chamber for +1, so I was about to call it a mistake, but then boom, the nice one went down. That makes a lot more sense. If the Lings go close to the evolution chamber, she want to start the +1 as a, well, it doesn't actually matter, never mind. You want to have the +1 available for Wiggly Jiggly on the evolution chamber to keep up appearances, but that doesn't work if you put your Nidus Worm right in the front lines. Lings will see that, and Kyuubi did see that. Now she starts +1 missile and roach speed, but she's still gonna get the Nidus Worm? The Nidus Worm is pretty good to have, but I don't think they're both on economies that are quite there to just be throwing down Nidus Worms willy-nilly. This was almost certainly an all-in, and then she decided it wasn't gonna work because it was scouted. So she adds those upgrades, and then she adds the drones, but it's very, very awkward for her. It's also hard for Kyuubi, though, to read, so maybe this is actually just an ultimate mind game, and I'm the dumb one here, because Kyuubi is overreacting to a Nidus Worm that isn't coming. So instead of getting more drones, she's going for more roaches and falling behind. But then, well, yeah, here's the thing. She has +1. She's about to have roach speed. If she over-defends, right, against a Nidus Worm and realizes it's not here, then can't she just attack? Can't she just be like, oh, you got me, but also, you know, F you. Nidus Worm is going to be shown, but if it's cleaned up, Kyuubi could go for the counter, but she wouldn't know that was possible. Anytime she decides to move out on the map is a potential time for the Nidus Worm to actually do a ton of damage. And until she realizes that her opponent is droning behind this... Okay, I think she does now. She's getting drones herself. She sees no army coming through the middle of the map at the very least, so... She's starting to figure things out. But this has been that time where if Kyuubi did push when her army was out on the map, there would have been +1, and there would have been a significant army supply difference, which it still is. And there still will be an upgrade lead whenever she does decide to push out, because that +1 Carapace is closing in on being finished. Kyuubi still has the better position in this game, but Aiba's kind of almost drunken mastery going down here is causing some pretty direct damage as far as the economy goes. We're not literally talking about roaches finding mineral lines, but 10 drones down is significant for 30 seconds, 60 seconds at a time. Aiba should be benefiting from it, and she is. There we go, but she had a bit of trouble spending it. So now spending it, getting Ravager. She's also getting a Hydralisk and a Spire. So I'm guessing she does the Spire first, shows the Mutas, hopes that it scares Kyuubi, and then goes into the Hydra Lurkers, more importantly. But they're not going to be out in time to scare Kyuubi. Kyuubi's moving across the map. She has that upgrade lead. She'll eventually have +2 upgrade lead as well. Aiba sacrificing her upgrades for all this other technology. She at the very least has caught up in that army supply. And she will have defender's advantage. A lot of transfuses as well. But those upgrades could be a huge, huge problem. That concave's looking pretty good for her orange Zerg. Queen's also pushing back a handful of... Oh, what the fuck? Well, that's a mistake. Well, that... Oh, no. They're not supposed to throw any drones right now. They're not supposed to. Oopsie poops. Thank you very much, SharkDog58, for the 14-month resub. Kyuubi sticking with this. I mean, she's not going to be able to run up this ramp. This is better, if only marginally so, but it is better. Also, look at this Overlord clump. Look at it. Look at it. But I guess this is all distraction. Roaches get into the main base, kill 12 drones. Now she moves over to the right side, top side. Overlord do have speed, so they skedaddle after only losing 1, but she's pushing in actually very aggressively. She still has the upgrade lead, about to have +2 as well. She could have a double upgrade lead. She has it now, and corrosive bile's raining down from above. I'm trying to keep my voice lower because it is getting really late here, but this is actually really good attack from Kyuubi that's probably gonna win the game. Corrosive bile is just raining down, hitting every single unit, and these mutas finally popping out. 2 of them, 3 of them, how much damage does that add? Not very much. Aiba is absolutely dead here. She's gonna lose her drones, her production, her hatcheries, and while the mutas might be the reason she stays in this game, they really aren't gonna bring this game back. Ravagers with not as much health as their roach counterparts are going down here, very low, finally killed by these mutas, but Aiba down to sub 70 supplies. Gotta realize that Kyuubi would have spore crawlers and hydras and everything back at home before she can do any good counterattack damage. I mean, Aiba's dead. She sees roaches still coming across the map, and maybe that's also giving her a false sense of confidence, because maybe Kyuubi's overcommitting to this, but she's not. Kyuubi not only getting hydras, but also getting more upgrades. +2 carapace on the way. Overlord speed. Run away from those mutas. All the hydras upgrades as well. She is a little late to the hydras. There we go. That looks much better. Spore crawlers also are already done, so as I said, like really not that much of a panic moment. Kyuubi would have to really tunnel visioned to ruin this much of a lead. More than doubling the workers, doubling the army supply, tripling the army supply with a counter to Aiba's army. Aiba trying to desperately replenish her drones, but realizing there's no actual option to come back. Finally taps out. GG. And Kyuubi takes game number 1. Certainly was a longer, more tense game number 1 than I was anticipating. But despite all those moments where Kyuubi was down in workers, she still had, you know, those important advantages. She still had the army, she still had the upgrades. It wasn't as perfect as maybe it could have been, but clearly a better game from Kyuubi as she takes game number 1. Let's see if we can hear a Korean grandma bashing on the floor with her cane. Ajuma. I don't even know if anyone... I actually was kind of tempted. I was kind of tempted to knock on my neighbor's door, because I only have one neighbor, and see if anyone responded, and if it was someone, I'd just be like, oh, wrong door, and then wait outside awkwardly and then go into my own door. But I decided not to. But there might not even be anyone over there. Although I didn't consider if they could hear me up there. That's a good point. There's actually no one below me. I'm on this, like... They built the house, like, the house is like a square, right? And then they built onto the house, like this way, right? So I'm actually, like, dangling over nothing. Why are there so few, almost no women playing StarCraft 2? I feel like if you used that noggin of yours, it's a fairly easy answer. Perhaps you're overthinking it. But when you think of how many women play games, like PC games specifically, I should say, it is a lower amount. And then on top of that, who plays old games, and on top of that, who plays competitive games, and on top of that, who actually tell you that you're a woman. Like, all of this dilutes and dilutes and dilutes until you get to the whole, oh no, no women play StarCraft, which is not true. But there are quite a few, and the numbers are increasing since the Banshee tournament and the Banshee Discord group have existed, which is always awesome to see. They just aren't always telling you. Good luck, have fun. By the way, I'm a girl. Right? Right? Now, why aren't more women into competitive sports or video games or 1v1s and blah blah blah? Well, that would require a much longer broadcast for me to explain all the social complexities of that, but you could also go ahead and type in the Google machine as, you know, parents call it, old people call it. But I will just say, like, right now, just as a basic answer, that there's more than you think. There's also more women playing Overwatch than you think, and every other game than you think, because they don't just mention, hey, we're women. And if you're like, well, what about in games where you have to talk? You know how many women don't want to talk in video games, in team games? Because every time they do, they're called out for being a woman? Yeah. 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 Some even have gone the path of using voice changers, just so that they can actually talk and communicate, because they want to be good at a game, but they don't want to be made fun of. So, just take that and roll with it. Same opener here. Considering how badly it went for Aiba, I'm kind of surprised, but I think what she's more so thinking about, and this one even poorer, by the way, because Kyuubi went for a pool first. What she's thinking about is how much she can do in the follow-up of this, right? It's not just that she does damage to Kyuubi, but that she throws Kyuubi off and then gets a quote-unquote safe opener with the Roach Evolution Chambers, so she can play around with faking Kyuubi out with a Nidus Worm or a Fast Spire or something like that. So it's very much so just an opener. But in this case, it's supposed to be deflected a little bit easier. I think Kyuubi underestimated how many lings Aiba was committing, because last game, she barely committed any. So, downside of a pool opener, you know, is that you don't have that queen down on that low ground as fast, but you do have one queen in the high ground capable of coming down at low ground. So that's what's supposed to happen. But once again, a little underestimating going on here. Queen's awfully low. Lings are gonna win, technically. And unfortunately, Kyuubi did not have that at perfect defense. You know, she should have been droning with this set of larvae, not building more lings, unless she wanted to all in. So she fits one drone in here and then goes for 10 lings, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, if you're gonna go for that many, you're gonna actually go for more. It's gonna be a ling attack. She's gonna try and find that timing before the wall is set up here. And Cyber Forest is kind of an awkward wall, not because the creep rate isn't already here, obviously it is, but just because it is on this, like, ramp high ground, so I believe it's more of an awkward wall than the other ones. I think it's the same amount of buildings. It's just you gotta be careful with the placement is the thing. So we see, I think, on Cyber Forest a lot more, oh my god, that was a hole? Oh Jesus, type things. In this case, no wall. Just straight up queens trying to defend against a mass amount of lings. Aiba's still droning, and this is what I was talking about last game that could have happened. It's absolutely happening this game. Kyuubi is going for a bunch of lings, going for the counter, killing all the queens, killing all the drones, and putting herself into a very, very, very good position. In fact, just a winning position here. All the queens are gonna go down. 5 drones, maybe more. She went to the main base. She could target fire on them. And that's exactly what she does. 6 drones. The queen in a very nice position, not gonna go down here, but the hatchery now looking a little bit low. Lings popping out, gonna be slow. 14 lings means they're not drones. And Kyuubi is catching up and, in fact, now exceeding the drones of Aiba. Aiba was not prepared to handle that, and Kyuubi is now following up with her own safe follow-up of the Roachborn Evolution Chamber. Should also be slapping on that 3rd hatchery once she determines that she is safe to do so, that her opponent isn't going to try and flood with her own lings across the map. There is a mistake in the score. Thanks, guys. Oof. Well, there's no queens to stop the lings from doing this, so yeah, Aiba's gonna have to cancel one of these buildings. There you go. Now, she does cancel a 2nd evolution chamber, which she wouldn't be using anyways, but still annoying. Still doesn't feel very safe. Aiba's also missing an overlord on the attack path of lings, so she is in the dark until this moment. That's not so good. But this overlord will see the 3rd hatchery go down. Put soundproof on the ceiling? Didn't think I have the means of doing that? What? Roach War now being targeted. Same problem as last time. Only a single queen. here to defend, and Kyuubi's even microing against it. War Drone's gonna fall. Second one is being produced. This will not provide an easy wall with the queen, but it's no longer about the wall. Kyuubi's on to bigger and better things here. She's got her own Roshu. She's got a third base on the way. She doesn't care about letting lings through the natural anymore. It's more about having a roach warren to produce roaches with. As she also starts up a Nidus Worm. I guess the night? Oh, over there. There we go. Kyuubi, well, this is why you would run a wall, and this is why Aiba's trying to make a wall here with her lings, is that she doesn't want two lings running by to scout. But her timing is so bad. Her drone count was so bad. This Nidus Worm is supposed to be scary. It's really not. It's only scary if Kyuubi went up to like 67 drones or something insane like that without building any roaches, which she hasn't. 46, kind of a low count if Aiba was running up really hard, but perfectly acceptable. She knows no third base to even take advantage of more than 44 drones. So why should she go to more than 46 drones, knowing she has a third base and a lead and all that good stuff? Overseer gets in here a bit late to see the Nidus Worm, but as I said, she's already pretty much defended against it. Well, this is a little awkward. Nidus Worm was envisioned of Kyuubi's Overlord, but she decides to go for just a straight-up attack instead. That'll lose her the third hatchery, but still probably win her the game. Kyuubi's defenses will eventually accumulate here into the natural, so she'll lose the drones, lose the third base, maybe lose her main, but she will take out both of her opponent's bases. So Nidus Worm goes down. That will lose the butt end of things. Okay. And if both these Nidus Worms go down, you do lose all the units inside of it. If every single part of the Nidus Worm is dead, all the units that were inside of it die as well. Drones were evacuated and attempted a base trade, and that is probably Aiba's best bet here, but Kyuubi is once again gonna win this game. Just too good of a position. She even has an upgrade lead here. Wall's been built up. Spine Claws are on the way. She doesn't quite have enough roaches, so it is important that she has a wall with Spine Crawlers, but eventually she'd have enough roaches. The same cannot be said about Aiba, who also doesn't have like an emergency spire. That could have maybe mixed things up, but even then, you know, big if. Trying to build up a hatchery, but very close to her opponent. And Kyuubi certainly is, yeah. She's pretty well defended. I mean, these bases will eventually mine out, but Aiba has no mining. No more units for her, and she's already at half the army supply, down 2 upgrades. She's gonna have an attack that will go okay, maybe? I mean, upgrade is such a severe difference, and it definitely doesn't. GG. GG. Woozbot is 100% banned here. I think Woozbot is so fucking annoying. Sorry, guys. I know some of you use it with care. Some of you are very mature about it. But oh my god. It ruined my chat experience. Alright, potential last map's gonna be King's Cove. Will Aiba once again do the 12th pool? Game number 3, no 12 pool this time. Just regular old openers. Kyuubi not only much higher MMR, just straight up, but also very good in tournaments, but also very good in ZVZ especially. Just everything was really going for her. She was, I mean, constantly facing Telia in ZVZ. And granted, Telia had kind of an odd style, right? She was very lane dependent and, and just had some really weird stuff, but was still kind of constantly testing her ZVZ. And she also almost was like wearing like training weights, right? Like Goku, because she was often playing off server as the default server for this tournament. Still is NA. As I mentioned in the last tournament of this 2 weeks ago, I said, and I still believe that if I brought this back, I might actually make it European default because most of our players are European. Now that would be a shame for Deity, who is kind of like the up-and-comer. I think she's really the star right now as far as creating that interesting storyline. Like, she's improving, she's not Zerg, she's actually combating Kyuubi. That's a really fun thing right there, but she is North American, and that would suck specifically for her. I'd still keep the loser's pick rule of changing servers, which is something that we changed, or I changed, like, Banshee tournament number, like, 8, I want to say, or something like that. We made it so that when you lose, you pick the map and you pick the server. Which is, technically something any one of these people could have done. Even if they're both European. If they wanted to do something really wacky, they could be like, no, we're going to NA. But, yeah. Alright. So, Kyuubi went for the pool and the gas, it looks like. My gas is already about halfway, or speed's already about halfway done. And that is popping up on Aiba's 3 hatch before pool, I think. Or, yeah, and it's done. So that's really awkward. Spawning pool finished recently, so lings are on the way, queen's on the way, but Spine Crawler instantly canceled. A handful of lings doing a surprising amount of damage, but the upside to this is that if Aiba can take care of it, which she should be able to, it's only so many lings, she'll have a 3rd base already done. So larva won't be an issue, and getting it sniped shouldn't be as much of an issue as it can be when it's at like 20% health, right? Kyuubi's gonna go for the... is she gonna go for the aggressive option? She's actually still building drones, so the Bailey Nest is a little premature. There are certainly 3 hatch builds in ZVZ where you just get the 3rd hatch for larva and then you just like all in with speedlings. But I was gonna say, if she was worried about that, she shouldn't be. And also she's incorrect and she would actually fall behind. So if she was worried about it and then she realized, hey, that's actually not what's happening, she should be using this to at least provide some aggression. There we go. Just to stop Aiba from producing nothing but drones. Speed's not quite done. Bailey is definitely not done. Aiba will have some trouble against this, and it's just out of sight of her Overlord. And it's out of sight, actually, of any Overlord. Once again, Aiba's Overlord positioning just not as good as it should be. 2 Banelings go to the north, which is scouted, but did Aiba actually pay attention? These Banelings probably going to be on #1 concern, right? Queen going to go down to the Lings. Banelings are, oh god, actually... well, these Banelings kill the drones and the Lings. And now it's not enough lings to combat Kyuubi's lings, and she's just flooding with lings, by the way. Nothing but lings coming out here. 3rd hatchery is on the way. Now adding in some drones, but she has already won the game, I believe. Aiba was not quite prepared to deal with this. Really nice timing with the lings. Once again, going to win Kyuubi this game. Another queen goes down, so larva will be a significant problem going forward here. Drones and a last-ditch effort to help out here are pulled alongside lings popping, so maybe it's not game over quite yet, but 10 workers? No. 10 workers. Barely any minerals in the bank right now. Kyuubi has once again given herself a game-winning position. Banelings defensively being made right now. Aiba does not have her own quite yet, and they are being made defensively. She has to go back into droning, but again, like 2 drones at a time. Kyuubi has that larva. Kyuubi's also going to a lair right now, which might be for a spire, since we don't have an evolution chamber. Oh, we do. Okay. No Roachborn quite yet, but she could hold off on that. We'll see what she decides to do. If she wants to go into roaches, she can start that +1 now and not be too worse off for it in terms of how much gas and mineral she has. to continue at least feigning an attack, or she could just continue committing to this attack and hope to win the game right here, right now, while building some drones. A decent trade there for Aiba, 2 for 3, but Kyuubi's just worried about getting rid of all the banelings, whatever the cost almost, right? Which I believe she just did. 3 more banelings are on the way, but she has 5 searching for whatever they can find, including those drones. 2 more being produced on those high grounds. These will finish, come from behind perhaps. Kyuubi might make a mistake defending against that, but she's not even. Oh wow, perfect. Very well done. Just send 1 Ling over there. Okay, that baneling gets a pretty nice shot. These banelings gonna be able to clean things up, but a lot of lost mining time. 2 more drones go down. Queen went down. Or wasn't even there, I don't remember which one. But Kyuubi now going the Philips 1 missile, and the Roach-Warren lair is going to provide her some very fast Roach speed. So, I mean, a faster lair than she really needed, I suppose. But still, doubling the supply right now, overall supply now headed towards the 3rd base. Does Aiba have the units? She does, but they're not in position. Units going across the map for a counter. Kyuubi continuing to build Lings. Now up to 40 drones to 18. 21, okay, alright, fine. 19, sorry. As Ling's got in the main base as well. But you all know where I'm going with this. I'm running out of ways to say that Aiba is truly dead. Is Kyuubi a regular champ of the Banshee tournament? She is indeed. I think she's won maybe like 12 at this point. Talia won the first like 10 or something like that. Maybe 10 or 12. And then Kyuubi won most of them, except for when she doesn't play or when Scarlet plays. Oh my god. Oh lordy. Kyuubi gonna take a bit of a chill pill, it looks like. She killed a 3rd, she killed her opponent's drones, she killed her opponent's army, but Baneling still being that ultimate defense, perhaps. Good hit there. Or good trade, rather, for Kyuubi. If she got rid of the Banelings, I guess she would win the Ling fight, but more importantly, she has Roaches on the way, so she's taking a chill pill on the Ling aggression, maybe, but actually still gonna win here with the drones. With the Roaches going down. Drones going down as they popped out of the larva. But still not really helping. One little drone to help out just a little bit more. You go, buddy. But these little scuffles are not important. Roaches should be headed across the map any minute now. I feel like if she just showed the Roaches to an Overlord, Aiba would go ahead and tap out, but we'll see. Aiba went for some greed. I mean, she really, you know, diversified her play here in this best of 3, which I enjoy. The first 2 games were all based around that 12 pool, I suppose, but 3rd game here, trying to go for the fast 3 base. I'm hesitant to believe that would have worked out, even if she had kind of quote-unquote gotten away with it, just because Kyuubi does have the superior macro, even if she temporarily falls behind here or there. Roaches are revealed by the Ling, and Aiba still thinking she might have a chance here. It's not going to tap out quite yet. It's her last chance here. She has, I believe, never won a Banshee tournament. There's been a couple of tournaments, and like literally 2, maybe, where neither Talia nor Kyuubi signed up. And Aiba would be a contender for the 1st place, if that were the case. But even then, I think she might have been beaten by, like, Deity or someone, right? P7 Gab, maybe, so... It would be quite a feat, but it's not going to happen here. She said she was playing a little bit more for this tournament today, and then she really plans on really playing a lot for the next 2 tournaments, so maybe we'll see her grab a victory in the next 2, but not this one. Nope. Roaches and Ravagers crawling their way forward. Nothing but Lings to defend. An attempt at a Spinecrawler force is coming down, but Corrosive Bios would take care of that anyways, even if they were done. GG, well played.